We're always looking for something quick and easy to make for dinner, and what's easier than tomato sauce? But let's talk about what's in that tomato sauce. Again, you guys can't take what's on the front of the label. You gotta turn around and see what's on the back, because there's always a hidden ingredient. And I mean, it's not really hidden, it's on the label, but most people don't even know what they're looking for. So sometimes the label on the front can look really pretty, even if it says organic. I'm gonna show you some things on the organic side that are not really very cool. So, all right, here we go. All right, super popular brand, Prego. And Prego, so tomato puree, diced onions and tomato juice, mushrooms, put that into focus a little bit. We've got sugar, there's our added sugar, canola oil, and spices. And if you remember from previous videos, spices isn't always a good thing. Sometimes this could be monosodium glutamate. They don't really have to define that. Citric acid is often derived from genetically modified corn, and then onion extract and garlic extract. So, but there's our guy right there, sugar. And they just, man, they want to put sugar in everything. Where does it land over here? Where's our carbohydrates? There we go. So we've got 12 grams of total carbohydrates, 3 of them being fiber, and 3 grams of added sugars. And when you come over here, that's 3 grams of sugar and a half a cup. So all we're doing is adding sugar just to satisfy the American palate. Now, the thing too with added sugars is that 80% of our foods have added sugars in them. So let's look at some other ones. This guy, Rouse. It looks really pretty, doesn't it? You're like, oh, it's cool, it's an Italian restaurant. This must be really good and super authentic. So where are we at on this guy? All right, so whole peel tomatoes, mushrooms, Italian sausage. That sounds yummy. And then boom, there's sugar in the sausage. Olive oil, onions, salt, basil, citric acid, again, probably from corn, black pepper, and oregano. Let's find one. Let's look and see. Now, let's try the arrabbiata. And maybe it won't have. So, tomatoes, olive oil, onions, salt, garlic, basil, red crushed pepper, black pepper. Wow, look at that, you guys. That is a thumbs up on this brand, this Rouse brand. So that is not even organic. And they didn't put anything added other than tomatoes and spices. So you could, unless you know where your Italian sausage comes from, or if you know that it doesn't have sugar in it, I would definitely stick with this and then get yourself some good Italian sausage, maybe that you made yourself, or you know the source of it. You can add it in there, or even just some good grass-fed beef would go really good in there. So let's see what else they have. All right, I'm looking at, this is the organic one. So again, we're comparing organic with that Rouse that we just looked at, because that's a thumbs up. Prego's absolutely a thumbs down. They put too much garbage in it. And the Rouse has all whole ingredients, so I'm super happy about that. So this organic, this is called Full Circle Market Organic, and it has organic tomato puree, tomatoes, tomato juice, salt, organic dried onion, soybean oil. I don't know why they would add that. Probably olive oil may not be as shelf stable. I don't know if it goes rancid earlier, but I'll add my own oil, keep it out of there. The Rouse didn't even add oil in there. Parmesan cheese is in this one, and then garlic, organic garlic powder, basil, and oregano. So, all right, not too bad. They did add dairy in here, so you do have to watch out for that. So this is a marinara, and commonly if you're picking a marinara, it shouldn't have Parmesan in here. So if you have a dairy allergy, you can't eat dairy or cheese, or trying to avoid it, you definitely want to read the ingredients, because personally, I would not expect a marinara to have any Parmesan cheese in there, or any cheese at all, or any dairy at all. The ones that are going to have dairies are going to be, like this one specifically says, cream sauce on the front. And that writing's too small for me to read. But watch out for that. So if you have any food allergies, gluten, dairy, or the like, you want to look at that label, because like I said, there's not supposed to be cheese in your marinara sauce. So So from a price comparison, the Prego is $3.99 and this one is $9.99. So yeah, it's a lot more expensive. You're going to have to pay for higher quality items. And again, if you don't want to pay $10 for a jar of tomato sauce, then make it yourself. But I promise you that this is going to be far more expensive, and these products and products like them that you're continuing to consume, far more expensive in the long run when it comes to damaging your health. So you have to start thinking about quality versus quantity, and I know expense can be an issue. So again, if you are not wanting to pay $10 for a jar of tomato sauce or a jar of pasta sauce, then you can make it for a lot cheaper. But personally, if I needed something quick off the shelf, I'm grabbing this. I'm paying the $10. I'm not even going to blink an eye because my health is worth so much more, and the quality of this is much higher. So you have to think about that. How much are you spending on things that you don't need, that then you're sacrificing things that would really benefit you? So, all right, that's just a quick tip on pricing. All right, so the other thing too is if you can't find a clean tomato sauce, the other way to do it is to make it yourself. And so one of my favorite types of tomatoes is the petite diced, but guess what? This gets a thumbs down because all of these, I've checked, even the organic ones, have calcium chloride in them, which helps it become more shelf stable. It's a food additive. There's nothing, food grade about it. It's on this list of things called generally recognized as safe. And so they're like think about it. It's generally safe. It's okay if you don't use it in too large of a quantity. Well, that's not really how I want my foods to be. So the only one that I found is this Di Fratelli in the crushed tomatoes is just tomatoes and citric acid. Now again, we've got citric acid as an additive. So here's the thing, if you want a good, simple Italian meal and you're kind of going crazy looking at the labels, I just suggest you just go buy some of those little grape tomatoes, buy some fresh garlic. I'm going to show you what some bad garlic is here. So fresh garlic, tomatoes, finely chopped onions, saute that with some good olive oil, and then some fresh basil. You could even use some dried basil in there, and then toss your pasta in there. It's so good. You could even saute fish. You could saute chicken in that. That's really the best way to get what you're looking for on the as far as the tomato sauce goes. Now, you might want to use tomato paste if you look at thickening things up. This is just straight up organic tomato paste, and it does have some citric acid. So in a pinch, you could definitely use that if you want something more saucy, where if you did just tomatoes, garlic, and onions, that's going to be a little bit thinner. It's not going to have as much heft, but that's where you would add some olive oil in there. You could put some shredded Parmesan cheese, whole Parmesan that you shred yourself, not the pre-shredded, because we talked about the additives in the pre-shredded stuff. So super simple way to get dinner. I've also taken that same mixture and I chop up Kalamata olives, which are, oh my gosh, it's amazing. Gives that little bit of salty brininess. I'm really getting hungry. I'm starving. So I'm in the grocery store right now getting my ingredients for my dinner tonight. So anyway, I hope that helps on the tomato sauce. Don't be duped by what's on the label. Remember, you got to turn it over, look at the back, and make sure there's no added sugars and no added chemicals. Go for the cleanest ones possible, or just make it yourself. All right, thanks so much for watching. We'll see you on the next one.